Chapter 2, Meet the Ogdens. Before I continue with my cancer journey, I would like to take a moment to talk about how our family came to be and what our life was like before 8/19/11, because my family played a pivotal role in my journey. Every decision I made regarding cancer was made with them in mind. They were the reason I refused to give up, even when I felt like I couldn't take one more step. Rewind to the summer of 1997. I had just about given up on any prospect of marriage. I had reached the ripe old age of 19 and knew that I was doomed to live life as a spinster. Can you say crazy? Stop laughing, Ellie. I had graduated from high school and spent one semester fumbling around at Dixie College in St. George, Utah. After this short-lived college experience, I decided to move to the huge metropolis of Salt Lake City, Utah, and join the working force for a while. My grandparents were kind enough to let me live with them, and I settled into a job as a teller at a credit union. I had a few friends from work that I would occasionally hang out with, but most of my nights were spent hanging out with my grandparents. It was a pretty exciting life for a 19-year-old spinster. I did go on a few dates and had some interesting experiences that left me a bit scarred. Those experiences left me wondering if I should just move back home, give up dating altogether, and try the college thing again. That was when I went on a blind date with Mark Ogden that changed my life forever. This fateful date was the result of a scheme hatched in a quaint little beauty shop. Mark's mother, my fabulous mother-in-law, is a hairdresser. She owns a beauty shop and has many ladies who make the weekly pilgrimage to her shop to have their hair done. My Aunt Jean is included in that wonderful group of ladies. In that shop, conversation, in other words, gossip, flows as thick as the hairspray that covers their newly backcombed hairdos. The conversation in the shop at that time was focused on how to get Mark to call me. He had recently returned from serving a mission for our church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. After living in Taiwan for 2 years, he was completely content with camping out on the couch, catching up on all the movies he'd missed. He was not interested in calling the cute girl that one of his mom's ladies wanted to set him up with. I, however, was in desperation mode. When my aunt told me about Mark, I had no problem calling the strange guy to see if he would accompany me to a work party. I tried calling him a few times, but couldn't reach him. Oh well, I thought, I guess it's not meant to be. Back to my plans of packing it up and moving back home. Shortly thereafter, as I was arriving home from work one day, I received a phone call from my Aunt Jean. "You need to call Mark right away. He's waiting for you to call him," she said. Okay, I responded. I was thinking to myself, why is he not just calling me? But hey, beggars can't be choosers, right? A date is a date. So I picked up the phone and gave him a call. He invited me to go on a double date to the movies that night, as in I had 15 minutes to get ready. I took a quick assessment of my appearance. Let's see, ball cap on the head to cover my bad hair day? Check. How about some baggy overalls to accentuate all my alluring curves? Check. It was the perfect situation for a blind date. Bring it on. I hung up the phone and made a mad dash to my room to find another outfit. Unfortunately, the process came to a screeching halt when I realized that what I was wearing was the only clean thing available. Blast! Why didn't I use my day off to throw in a load of laundry? Time for plan B. Maybe I could make something nice out of this mess on my head that would draw the attention away from my outfit. I ran to the bathroom and used every hair product I owned with no success. Still an abomination. A ball cap was the only viable option at this point. The doorbell rang. I said a quick prayer that my sweet spirit would come shining through and that Mark wouldn't notice how sloppy I looked. I opened the door and my first thought was, oh man, he's cute too. Why do I have to look like a slob today of all days? You can laugh, Ellie. It's okay. I know. It's funny. We left on our date and an amazing thing happened that night. One would assume that I would have been uncomfortable the whole time because of how I looked and the fact that it was a blind date. However, the exact opposite happened. I found myself completely relaxed. Mark was so easy to talk to. I felt as if I'd known him forever. 2 days later, we talked on the phone for over an hour, and by the end of the phone call, we had dates lined up for the next 2 Saturdays. 2.5 weeks later, we were engaged. The time frame varies depending on whom you're talking to, but it's my book, so 2.5 weeks it is. It was definitely a case of when you know, you know. I felt at home with Mark and his family. I believe that we lived before we came to this earth as spirit children of a loving Father in heaven. I also believe, or rather know, that Mark and I knew each other in that life. We knew that we wanted to be together as husband and wife, and when we met each other here, those feelings were present. Mark is the love of my life. And on a beautiful but freezing cold day in December, we were married in the Salt Lake Temple. We will be together forever. There is no until death do us part in this scenario. We made covenants with each other and with God across an altar in a holy temple. This fact alone was a source of comfort even on the darkest days of my journey with cancer. Life moved along as it tends to do, and it wasn't long before our little family of 2 turned into 3. I then began the best and most difficult job of my life, being a mommy. My little Joshua Squashua was born in 1999. When my water broke, I knew that my life would never be the same again. I was scared out of my mind, but was also looking forward to the challenge because being a mom was all I ever really wanted to do. I loved my life as a new mommy so much. I never imagined how much I could love this squishy little boy of mine, or how tired I would be in trying to keep up with him. My days were filled with diapers and laundry, joy and tears, his and mine, as I tried to figure this whole mommy business out. It was harder than I ever thought it would be, but so worth it. I loved hearing his little voice. I loved having his pudgy fingers intertwined with mine. I did not, however, love potty training, sleepless nights, or worrying about a sick baby. Having said that, I have discovered something that I dislike even more than potty training: teaching a 15-year-old boy or girl how to drive. Give me the potty training any day. A few years went by, and in 2002, our first little princess was born, my sweet Emma Ding Dong. Josh was completely smitten with his little sister and stopped referring to himself as Josh. He was now Emma's big brother. Everything seemed to be perfect. I had 2 healthy and adorable children. Mark and I were happy in our marriage, and we'd settled into a great routine. Then I missed a period. And 8 months later, my second princess, Abby Cadabby, came into this world. I like to say that Abby has been doing exactly what she wants to do since before she was born. She was born just 22 months after Emma, which was not in my original plan of how we would space our kids apart. This would mean I would have 2 in diapers, which was not fun, but having a beautiful baby to snuggle made up for that. I really wanted to be done having kids after Abby. I loved my kiddos fiercely, but I did not enjoy being pregnant. However, I could not shake the feeling that there was someone else waiting to come to our family. My third princess, Ellie Belly, was born in 2006. The whole time I was pregnant with her, I knew that it would be the last pregnancy for me. I tried to enjoy every moment of it, even the uncomfortable ones. When we brought Miss Ellie home a few weeks before Christmas, we felt complete. Let's fast forward to 2011. Life was good. Josh was now old enough to watch the girls while I ran an errand or 2. For me, reaching this milestone in my life was just about as close to heaven on earth as I could get. No longer did I have to make a dreaded trip to the store with 4 little munchkins in tow. I could actually make it through the store without having to break up a disagreement, look for a lost kid in the clothes rack, or put on my smiling, wait until we get home face. Mark and I were also doing well at this time in our lives. We were enjoying good health and happiness. We'd taken a trip to Hawaii to celebrate our 13th wedding anniversary, where we were able to relax and reflect on where our lives had taken us. We both felt an immense surge of gratitude for all the blessings in our lives. This brings us to the summer of 2011, which had been particularly wonderful. We'd redecorated bedrooms, played at parks, gone to movies, and spent lots of lazy afternoons together. As the summer was winding down, there was new school year excitement in the air. The kids were all set with new clothes and school supplies. I was set to have a quiet year at home with Ellie to keep me company. That's when I received that fateful phone call, which sent our cozy little life into a tailspin.